Well, hello there, everybody. I hope you guys have had a great weekend so far. This is what was this the 15th, the 15th official week, I believe, of the Power Performance Index, and yeah, we had some had some definite teams move up. Had one team that was number one coming into the night, and they did not quite stay number one, but we will get to that. So we start out number 32. They are in the same spot, unfortunately, and unfortunately, kind of like last year, it's a very similar spot for them, and that's San Jose. So the Sharks, unfortunately, they they play hard. They've got a lot of good young talent on there. Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, Askarov. Askarov got a start the other day. The team San Jose is going to be a decent team in the future. Right now, it's just hey, let's wait for the draft and kind of see what happens. Number 31, also staying in the same spot. Now they went back and forth with San Jose a couple of times this week, but they end up right back at 31 after going 1-1-1 on the week, and that's of course San Jose. Or not San Jose. San Jose I put up there already. Chicago. Now the Blackhawks and this is kind of what took them out of 32 and bumped them up to 31. Big win tonight over Vegas. Big win. Kind of shocking that Vegas would lose to Chicago, but Chicago played well. Good win for them, and maybe they can build on it. It'd be kind of wouldn't be bad to see them kind of build on that. Number 30, dropping 3 spots. They did win their last game, but yeah, they went 1-2 on the week, and they struggled. They have struggled recently, and that's unfortunately Utah. So the Utah Hockey Club, or as we'll eventually find out what their name will be, probably later toward the end of the season. But yeah, Utah's struggling right now. They were looking decent. They look like they could be flirting with a playoff spot, and then they kind of fell back, and they've struggled recently. And unfortunately, as their struggles, they've kind of dropped, and they are number 30 this week. Number 29. Speaking of a team that had their struggles, and then they would get a win, and now they're just win one, lose one, and they're just not quite sure what they're doing. Buffalo at 29. So Buffalo, again, the Sabres are, again, they're a team that's going to probably be looking toward the draft again, instead of the playoffs. Hey, look forward to the draft lottery instead of looking forward to try to make a playoff run. And yeah, Buffalo. I mean, I don't know what more can you really say about Buffalo right now? They're very odd. They're very odd right now, and I hope at some point they can get better. I hope. Number 28, dropping 2 spots from the week before. They've lost 3 straight, and that's Anaheim. So the Ducks are 28 this week, and yeah, they've been having their struggles, and they're another one of those teams because there's a lot of time left in the season. Anaheim is one of those teams that they have stretches where they look good, but then they have stretches like they're in right now where they just look yeesh. I mean, they went 1-2-1 on the week, And it's just, I mean, they're 3-5-2 in the last 10, and they're kind of in a little bit of a rut right now. But we'll see if they can climb their way out of it. Number 27. These guys also dropped 2 spots. They did win their last game, and that's Seattle. So the Kraken, I expected them to be better. I did expect them to be a better, better than what their record is right now. And it's not happening right now. And again, Joey Decord is he's a pretty good young goaltender. I think they might have their goalie of the future there. Seattle's got some talent. They really do. I mean, you got Brandon Montour, you've got Shane Wright, you got Matty Beniers, but they can't seem to put it together at the moment. And yeah, as of right now, they're at number 27. Number 26, dropping 3 spots. They're 2-5-3 in their last 10. They went 1-3 this week. And Pittsburgh is really they're in a spot right now that I don't know. They looked good. They've looked good. And then they kind of fall apart. I mean, the game, one of their last games, Alex Nedeljkovic scores a goal. That was cool to see. I love seeing stuff like that. I love seeing goalie goals. I wish more goalies would go for them. But, Pittsburgh, they got that in a win over Buffalo. But Pittsburgh is, again, they're another one of those teams. The consistency isn't there with them right now. And, right now it's gotten them into the bottom row. Number 25. Now, they move up 3 spots. They've actually played pretty well. They went 3-0-1 on the week. Now, you want to talk about consistency. At number 25, Philadelphia. Now, you want to talk consistency. The Flyers, they have some weeks where they could win every one of their games in that week. And then the following week, they'd lose all their games. It's weird. From one week to the next, the Philadelphia Flyers what are they? We don't know. Their goaltending is kind of, we're not quite sure. Fedotov, Ersson, and they're just, I don't know. I mean, they're a very hard team to figure out. And because of that, right now they're at number 25. Number 24, moving down 2. They went 1-2 on the week. They are very. Again, this is another one of those teams. They can look good in spots and then really bad in others. That's the New York Islanders. So the Isles are 24. They are, again, they are a very odd team to figure out. Again, not a lot of consistency. They have some moments they look great, and then some moments they're just, I mean, what do you do? I mean, they've got 2 really good goaltenders. I mean, Varlamov and Sorokin are really good. It just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that the Islanders can look good, can look so good some games, and then struggle so hard the next. Number 23, dropping 3 from the week prior. I don't know what to do about these guys. This team is very. I don't know. There's, they got a couple of guys that hate each other in the locker room, and I don't know what's going on here. But Vancouver is just, they are in. I don't know. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how you fix them. I don't know how you fix this team. I mean, everybody talks about, Pettersson. Miller, is one going to get traded? Are both going to get traded? Are none going to get traded? And then you come out and you got Brock Besser, who's just kind of hanging out there. He's a free agent. He's a free agent coming up. What are you going to do with him? I don't know. I don't know what Coach Rick Tocchet does, but Vancouver's got they've got some issues, and I don't know how they're going to fix them, but they got to figure something out because right now they do not look like a playoff team. Number 22. Now, this is a team that's kind of coming around, and I could very easily see them get back into that playoff hunt. Keep an eye on the New York Rangers. The Rangers, who were in a hell of a spot. They had only won like four of like 20 games. They were just horrible. But now they're doing. I mean, right now they've won. Where's there? They've won 2 in a row. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. They got a really nice win tonight over Columbus, even though it was in a shootout. They still got the win. They still got 2 points, and they're slowly climbing back up in that Metro division. I can see the Rangers climb back up into one of those playoff spots. It wouldn't shock me. Number 21, moving down 4. They went 2-2 on the week, 5-5 in the last 10. And again, this is a team they've flirted here with this. They've flirted with getting into the second row and being in the second row. And now they're down in the third row. They've kind of flirted with getting back out of the third row. Now they're kind of right in the middle of the third row again, and it's Calgary. So the Flames are, again, Calgary. I don't know. I don't know what to do with them either. They're very hard to figure out. Wolf is a good young goaltender. Kadri, of course, is a good player. Huberdeau, Weegar. The talent they have on the team is pretty good. But again, what do you do? What do you do? They are just, they have their good points. And right now, I mean, are they going to be a playoff team? I don't know. Can they make a run at the playoffs? I don't know. Number 20, moving up 5 spots. Where's this been all year? Where has this been all year? They went 3-0 on the week. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but they've won 3 straight. Where's this been all year for these guys, the Nashville Predators? They just destroyed Minnesota tonight, 6-2. Where's that been for the Nashville Predators all season? I don't know. I think that when you start out so bad, trying to climb back up in the division and trying to fight for a playoff spot is very, very hard. Can Nashville keep this up? I think they're gonna have to keep it up if they're wanting to try to keep climbing in the division. I think they're like still 6th in the division, but it's good to see that they're trying to climb out of this hole that they're in. It's a pretty deep hole that they created with their start, but let's see if they can keep climbing out of it. Number 19. Moving down 1 from the week prior, they did lose tonight. St. Louis. So the St. Louis Blues are Jim Montgomery. They had the good coaching. They had the decent bump there. They've been kind of They've had their moments, and they're a team that they're not a wild card team right now, but I think as the season progresses, it will not surprise me if they find a way to possibly get into that wild card spot, or at least get close to it. Will they get it? I don't know, but as of right now, they're number 19. Number 18. Now, they moved up 3. Even though they did lose in a shootout, they're 3-5-2 in the last 10, and right now they're not in a playoff spot right now. Boston. So the Bruins, it's interesting to see where they are. They are not in a playoff spot at the moment. I mean, Boston has been so good for so long. They've always been a consistent playoff team. So seeing them right now on the outside, it's definitely odd to see. And, Swayman is doing what he can. Obviously Marchand, Coyle, Pasternak, they're trying they're doing what they can. And, again, it would be very odd to see the Boston Bruins. If they don't make the playoffs, it'd be very odd to see them not in a playoff spot. Because as of right now, they are not in one. Number 17. These guys are in a playoff spot. They've moved up. They've moved up 2 spots. They went 3-0-1 on the week. Look out for these guys. Watch the Ottawa Senators. They are 17 this week, but right now they're in a wild card spot. It would be awesome if they could make the playoffs. I would love to see them get in the playoffs. It would be very, very cool. And they've looked pretty decent. They have looked really, really pretty decent. And if they can keep playing that way, they could hold on. I could see them hold on to a playoff spot. I would love to see it. Even if it's just one of the 2 wild cards, I would love to see the Senators back in the playoffs. Number 16. You want to talk about a team that's dropped off a cliff this week? Down 8 spots. They've lost 3 in a row. Now, granted, they're hurt. They have a lot of guys that are hurt, but still, Minnesota has they absolutely got slaughtered tonight by Nashville. And Kaprizov is hurt. We don't know when he's going to come back. They just put him on LTIR. Now, I think they just did that as kind of a formality because they needed to call somebody up. And I think that he can come off LTIR. I think he might have been able to do that today. But again, we don't know when he's going to start. We don't know when he's back, when he's going to be able to play again. And, of course, Faber just came back. Johansson is out with a concussion because he got a little chicken wing from Connor McDavid. And I don't know. Minnesota right now, it's kind of what I would have expected because it's a Minnesota team. They've had this great season, this great run, and you're thinking it can't last, can it? Here's where it might come crashing down for them. We shall see as the weeks go on. Number 15. They end up staying in the same spot. They went 2-2 on the week. They're 8-2 in their last 10 though. They've had since they got a new coach, they've looked really good too. And that's Detroit. So the Red Wings, they stay at 15. They're in that Eastern Conference right now. It's a hell of a race. You got a lot of teams that are really close, standing wise. It's a dogfight right now. It's going to be a dogfight to see who gets those 2 wildcard spots. Detroit, they've gotten back into that conversation. We'll see if they can continue to stay in that conversation. Number 14. Now, they actually drop 1 spot. Even though they went 2-1 on the week, they're 7-2-1 in the last 10. And they mainly dropped a spot because they got passed. And they kind of got a beat down tonight against Toronto, and that's Montreal. Montreal has looked pretty good recently. they've had a good run, a really good run. Dobesh, I think, has been the goaltender. He's been phenomenal. 4 games. I mean, what is he? 4-0 with like a .98 goals against and a .960 save percent. It's just he's been incredible. Now, granted, he can't play every game, but the games he's played, he's looked fantastic in. He's gotten Montreal into that. He's helped get Montreal into that second row. Number 13. Now, they dropped 2 spots, even though, and I probably could have dropped them more, because now granted, they lost 1 game in overtime and 1 in a shootout, and then they still count as losses though. They've lost 3 straight, and that's New Jersey. So the Devils are at 13 this week, and again, they're having a good season, but boy, oh boy, Sheldon Keefe just cannot figure out how to beat his old team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. New Jersey has really lately. It's been tough for New Jersey lately. It's been some tough sledding, and they got to figure out a way to get out of that. And we'll have to see here. I don't know. Can they get out of it? Can they get out of that funk next week? We'll see. But yeah, they easily could have fallen even further. Number 12. Now they went up 2 spots also. They went 3-1 this week, and I'm still saying these guys come playoff time, these guys are still going to be dangerous, and that's Tampa. So the Tampa Bay Lightning are, again, like I said, come playoff time, they're still going to be a dangerous team. I would not want to see them in round 1, no matter who I am. If they get one of the wild cards, Toronto better hope, especially if you're Toronto. Toronto's not going to want to see Tampa again. They're not going to want to see Tampa or Boston, really. But Tampa, I think, is still a very, very dangerous team. And if it comes to playoff, when it comes to playoff time, it wouldn't shock me to see Tampa make another run. Number 11. Now, this has been the surprise. They moved up 5 spots. They had won. They lost in a shootout tonight after winning 6 in a row. And this is probably the highest I think I've ever had these guys. The highest that I can remember at any point. I'm so used to seeing them down here or here. Never really up here. Hello, Columbus. So the Blue Jackets. What? They are one of the teams. I believe they are the number 2 wild card right now. I said at the start of the year, I am with the tragedy that happened with the Gaudreau with Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau. I'd love to see them make the playoffs. I really would. This run they've been on, winning 6 in a row, has been fantastic. I want to see them keep going. I want to see them get in the playoffs. I think it would be absolutely fantastic if they could get in the playoffs. And what a story that could be. Now, they lost in a shootout. As I said, they lost in a shootout tonight. Let's see what they can do this next week. Number 10. Now, they move up a couple spots, even though they only went 2-2 on the week. I don't know what's necessarily. I think this is the case of, we'll just kind of hang around till playoff time, and then we come to play. The reigning, defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. So the Panthers are 10 this week, and again, they are they're kind of Jekyll and Hyde right now. I don't know. Some games they look fantastic. Some games they look absolute just ugh, you know. But again, I don't think it matters to them whether they win the division or not. They're still second in the division. And I don't think it matters to them whether they win the division or not. They're just thinking, oh, let's get to the playoffs. Let's get to the playoffs and show everybody exactly who we are. So, yeah, this week they're number 10. Number 9. Now, they ended up staying in the same spot. They went 1-1-1 on the week. And I did have them higher at one point. I did have them like a spot or two lower, and at the end they end up in the same spot, Carolina. So the Hurricanes, again, they have their moments too. They have their good moments, they have their bad moments. They have had the month of December was really very weird. They would win some games that they probably shouldn't have won, and then they've lost them some games that they shouldn't have lost. And yeah, Carolina is, they're still sitting at number 9, just right outside that top row. Number 8. Now, a team that is they're a classic example too of a team that can look fantastic one week or a couple weeks and then just fall off a cliff. They went 1-3 this week. They've lost 2 in a row. They dropped 3 spots, and that's Dallas. So Dallas, they're still in the top row, but just barely. They're just barely still in that top row. Dallas is, I don't know. They're another one of those teams that is, they're hard to figure out. It's hard to figure out as to why the inconsistencies are there. We're at the halfway point of the season here, and there's the consistency with Dallas is just not there. And I'm not sure what they can do. I mean, they had a nice little run. I think what did they won 7 in a row, and now they've turned around and lost. They've turned around and they've lost 2 in a row. I mean, they went 1-3 on the week. So yeah. Number 7. They had lost 3 in a row, and they've responded by winning 2 in a row, and it's bumped them up to number 7, and that is Toronto. So the Leafs are the Leafs. They are Canada's version of the Dallas Cowboys, because when it comes to the Canadian hockey teams, Toronto is what they talk about. They don't really talk much about Edmonton. They don't talk a lot about Ottawa. It is Toronto. It's all Toronto all the time. And so, I mean, when they go and they lose a couple of games, that Toronto media, they are just like, kind of like the Dallas Cowboy media. They're just, they go nuts. But they've responded well by turning a 3-game losing streak now into a 2-game winning streak. We shall see if they can keep that going. Number 6, staying in the same spot as the week prior. They went 2-1 this week, and I still think it's only a matter of time before they pass everybody in the Central Division, take first place, and run away with it. Colorado. I still think Colorado is eventually going to catch everybody in the Central, take over first place, and win the division by like 6, 8, 10 points. I just think Colorado is that good. And as much as neat as it is to see like Minnesota and Winnipeg trying to stay up on Colorado, yeah, to me, it's only a matter of time before they overtake all those teams. And to me, it's only a matter of time before Minnesota slips down to 4th. We'll see though if that happens as the weeks go on. Number 5. Now they dropped 3 spots. Now these guys have looked phenomenal. This week, not so much. They went 1-3 on the week. They've lost 3 in a row. They lost to Chicago tonight. Vegas. They're still in the top 5. They still have one of the best records in the league. But yeah, Vegas right now, they're struggling. They're having their struggles, and I don't know. I mean, they're going to come out of it. They're too good not to. But seeing Vegas go through this little slump that they're in, something doesn't happen very often. It does not happen very often where Vegas hits a little bit of a snag, but they've hit a little bit of a snag for right now. Number 4. Now they went 2-1 this week. Now I don't know. Whenever they play their backup goalie, he gets no goal support whatsoever. Gets no help. And he got that again tonight, unfortunately. They end up moving up 3 spots. They had a good couple of wins in a row, and of course they lost tonight, and that's Winnipeg. So the Jets are a team. They're doing everything they can to keep ahead of the surging Avalanche, of course the falling Wild. But Colorado or not Colorado, Winnipeg, they're trying to hold on. They're trying to stay in first place in every way they can. And it's just whenever they have their backup in, they don't get their backup does not get a lot of help, unfortunately. But Hellebuck is, probably the front runner right now for the Vezina. Number 3. Dropping 2 spots. They were number 1 last week. And then, of course, what happens? They're number 1, and then all of a sudden they lose 2 or 3 this week. 6-4 in the last 10. Los Angeles. So the Kings, they're still a really good team. They have looked good. They have not looked great this week, obviously, but They're also the epitome of they win these games that they probably shouldn't, but then they lose games that they should win. It's just it's weird. Winnipeg, LA is just one of those teams that is, I think they're still a good enough team, and we'll see what they can do. We'll see if they can stay up here in this top 5. Number 2. Now these guys were number 1 coming into tonight. Then they lost to Vancouver, and it dropped them back down to number 2, Edmonton. So I had the Oilers at number 1. They were on a nice little run, and then they ran into Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks, who have had their struggles, and they had a big win. They had a nice win over Toronto. They had a big win tonight over Edmonton. So we'll see what they can do with that. Nothing like a little unexpected coughing fit, huh? But back to the Oilers. The Oilers, they've been really good. They're actually not that. I mean, they're still second in the division behind Vegas, but they're not that far. They're really not that far behind Vegas. And Vegas, on this little losing streak that they've gone on, it won't shock me if Edmonton overtakes them. And number 1, they leapfrogged the Oilers tonight because they won again. They are on a 4-game winning streak. They move up 2 spots. They're back at number 1, and that is the Washington Capitals. What did anybody see this season from the Capitals? I didn't see this coming from the Capitals this year. But Ovi has been phenomenal. Ovechkin is 21 away from Gretzky. I don't know if he hits it this year. It would not shock me if he were to all of a sudden go on a run where he scores 5 or 6 goals in 2 games. He is notorious for that. And so, yeah, the Capitals are, they're back at number 1. They were not number 1 coming into the night. They were number 2 at the start of the night. Edmonton was number 1. And then after the results, Edmonton losing to Vancouver, Washington winning, they flip-flopped. So here is the Power Performance Index for this week in January. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of it. What teams do you think, do you think some of these teams are in the right spot? Do you think that I'm completely out of my mind with where I have some of these teams? Let me know in the comments section below. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to get notifications for the channel, you can tap that little bell, which then will notify you anytime a new video goes up. Also, go ahead and share this video. You can share this video or any other video from the Power Performance Index, or any of my jersey unboxings, any video from the channel. If you want to share them with friends, with family, go right ahead. Also, if you've got friends or family that love hockey jerseys, just love hockey in as a whole, tell them about the channel. Send them here. I would love to have every hockey fan in the world join me here on this channel. It would be absolutely fantastic. It would be phenomenal. I want you all here. I would love to have you all here with me. And again, let me know what you guys think of this week's Power Performance Index. And I will see you guys again later.